Mr. Piachaud, you are advocacy manager of Varki Foundation. What is this foundation?
Well, the foundation is the idea of our founder, Mr. Sonny Varki. He is an educational entrepreneur and he created the foundation because he wanted to do something more for the world. His parents were teachers. He manages a very large network of schools across the world. And his idea was that teachers are not getting the respect that they deserve. And he created his foundation to make sure that every teacher around the world is able to help underprivileged children. So as a foundation, what we do is to celebrate the work of teachers, to recognize them, and to give them a place at the global table that we feel that they deserve. So really our foundation is very simple. It's about giving teachers a voice.
And who is part of this foundation? Who could be member of this foundation?
So this foundation is relatively small, and our principle is that we are for teachers. So we have a very small number of staff, but we have a vast network of world-class teachers around the world who we work with every day. And these are teachers working in extraordinary situations. They work from the Canadian Arctic to the Palestinian territories to a slum in Kenya. We believe that the world's best teachers can be found in classrooms across the world. And you know, it's not just about getting great marks for your students, it's about empowering them, giving them a voice, and giving them a hope for the future. That's how we recognize some of the world's best teachers. And that's what our foundation does on an everyday basis. When we go to work, we're incredibly proud because we get to work with some of the most inspirational people in the world. These are really role models for the next generation. And what we do as a foundation is to tell their stories and to, where necessary, get out of the way and let them do the talking to governments, to presidents, to policymakers, and to the media as well.
Have you members from Romania?
We have engagement with Romania. So, for example, we have a group called the Atlantis Group of former ministers of education and heads of governments. And one of our honoured members is Mr. Remus Procopi, who is from Romania and is a former education minister. And he's worked with the Varki Foundation for many years for the cause of teachers and also to advance the cause of political leadership in education. When we look around the world, one of the things that we see is that there is a global education crisis. And one of the reasons we created this Atlantis group of former ministers is that we believe that their experience can inform the next generation of political leaders. And we believe that leadership is badly needed on global education right now.
Every year you are offering a prize. This prize is offered for a teacher for his work. Who will receive the prize this year?
So this year our prize winner was a gentleman named Peter Tabichi. He's a Kenyan secondary school teacher. He teaches physics and maths. He is a Franciscan friar who gives away 80% of his salary to charity. He works in an extremely poor school. They only have one working computer. They don't have any access to internet. They have very vast class sizes. Their students need to walk miles to school every day. And yet his students are doing remarkable things. Despite not having any access to the internet, despite having very basic tuition, they're going and winning science competitions around the world. You know, in fact, recently they traveled to the US, where they won an international competition that was sponsored by the UN. And for us, that just shows the power of a good teacher, the power of a good teacher like Peter Tabichi or some of our other winners in past years. These are people who can do extraordinary things with very few resources and who can unlock the potential of children around the world. The world needs more teachers like them.
How do you find about them?
We have a very rigorous and independently monitored application and nomination process. So applications are open now, and I encourage any teacher or anyone who knows a good teacher in Romania to apply, because you never know, it could be you. You can find it online just by searching for Global Teacher Prize. And then there's a very rigorous system in which we filter out the tens of thousands of applications we receive from all around the world. And then we have an independently monitored process. It's monitored by PwC, the same group that monitors the Oscars, for example. And then we have a final judging process of some of the biggest names in education from around the world who come together to decide on the one winner.
The meeting of the Atlantis group took place in Bucharest. How have you come to organize this event in Romania?
We were honored to be invited by Mr. Remus Procopi, our member from Romania, and it was at his instigation, it was his idea. The Atlantis Group travels around the world and looks for examples of best practice and excellence in education, and we were invited to come here to Romania. This morning we had the honor of meeting your president, and the group asked him to become a global champion for education, to help demonstrate leadership on education around the world.
You have had the opportunity to know many education systems in the entire world. The internet is changing also the field of education. How do you think this field will develop?
I think the internet is going to continue to disrupt and challenge traditional models of education. It is perhaps the greatest challenge that any education minister faces today, whether they realize it or not, because any school child can simply pick up a mobile phone and Google whether they think the teacher is right or not. But the internet is still very limited in what it can deliver. The internet can teach you bits and pieces of information, but it can't yet provide the continuum of knowledge and information that you require to master a subject. That's something that only teachers can do, and that's something that why as a foundation we're continuing to work with teachers. We believe that teachers and technology can work together for the next generation, but technology can't replace teachers. We don't see robots replacing teachers anytime soon.
This is the next question. Will robots replace the teachers?
I don't think so, not in the near future. Teaching is more about just teaching kids what, 1 + 1 = 2. Teaching is about unlocking their potential, and to do that you need to have hearts, you need to believe in your students. Everyone can probably remember their favorite teacher, and that's not just because you learned something from your favorite teacher, it's because they saw something in you and they believed in you. And that's something that I don't think a robot will be able to do, at least not for the next 5 to 10 years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.